Michael Jordan walked back into his high school expecting memories. But instead, he saw a man who stopped him cold. An 80-year-old janitor, still working the same halls after 6 decades. The same man who once opened the gym early for a struggling kid named MJ. What Michael did next didn't just change one life. It shocked an entire school and left everyone in tears. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Now let's dive into what really happened, and no one was prepared for what Michael Jordan was about to see that day. What was meant to be a simple, quiet visit slowly turned into a moment that would stay with him forever. There were no cameras following him, no reporters waiting outside, and no big announcements. Michael Jordan had returned to his old high school for one reason only: to give back. He wanted to donate sports equipment, shake a few hands, and inspire the next generation of students who dreamed just like he once did. As he walked through the familiar hallways, time seemed to move backward. The sound of sneakers echoing on polished floors brought back memories of endless practices, early mornings in the gym, and late nights chasing a dream that once felt impossible. He remembered the pressure, the failures, and the moments when quitting felt easier than continuing. Then suddenly he stopped. At the far end of the hallway, an elderly man stood quietly, pushing a worn-out mop bucket across the floor. His back was bent with age. His movements were slow and careful, as if every step required effort. His hands trembled slightly as he cleaned, and his face carried a deep exhaustion that told a story of many long years of hard work. Michael felt his heart skip a beat. He stared for a moment, unsure if his eyes were playing tricks on him. "That can't be," he whispered under his breath. But it was real. It was Mr. Thompson, the same janitor who worked at the school more than 60 years ago when Michael was just a skinny kid chasing basketball dreams. The man who used to unlock the gym early in the mornings so Michael could practice before class. The man who once placed a hand on his shoulder and said words that never left him: "Greatness comes to those who don't quit." And now here he was, 80 years old, still working, still cleaning the same halls. In that moment, Michael didn't just see a janitor. He saw a powerful reminder of sacrifice, loyalty, and a forgotten hero who had quietly shaped his journey toward greatness. Michael approached him slowly, almost afraid that if he moved too quickly, the moment might disappear. His voice was soft, filled with disbelief. "Mr. Thompson?" he asked. The elderly man paused, lifting his head with effort. For a brief second, his eyes narrowed as he tried to focus. Then suddenly, recognition washed over his face. His tired eyes widened, and a faint smile appeared. "Michael?" "Little MJ," he said, his voice trembling with surprise. They both laughed, a short, warm laugh that bridged decades of time. But as the moment settled, Michael couldn't ignore what he saw. The deep lines on Mr. Thompson's face. The slight shake in his hands. The exhaustion that no smile could hide. Michael took a breath and asked the question that had been pressing on his heart. "Why are you still working at this age?" Mr. Thompson looked down for a moment, gripping the handle of his mop. When he spoke, his words were calm, honest, and free of self-pity. "My wife passed away years ago," he said quietly. "Her medical bills took everything I had. The pension isn't enough, so I work. As long as I can stand on my feet, I'll keep going." Michael felt a tightness in his chest. This was a man who had given his entire life to work. A man who showed up every day, without complaints. A man who helped students, teachers, and athletes, expecting nothing in return. And yet here he was still struggling, still invisible to the world. Michael's mind flooded with memories. Mr. Thompson clapping from the sidelines after practice. Mr. Thompson staying late at night to clean the court so the gym would be ready for Michael at sunrise. Small acts of kindness that meant everything back then. That day, standing in that hallway, Michael didn't just see a janitor. He saw strength. He saw sacrifice. He saw a silent hero, one who never gave up. Even when life gave him every reason to stop, Michael Jordan left the school that day, but his heart stayed behind in those quiet hallways. As his car pulled away, the image of Mr. Thompson slowly pushing that mop replayed again and again in his mind. The applause, the trophies, the roaring crowds of his career suddenly felt distant. That night, Michael lay awake, staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. Silence filled the room, but his thoughts were louder than ever. He kept asking himself a painful question. How many people like Mr. Thompson are still out there, working endlessly, suffering quietly, while the world celebrates success stories like mine? Michael had everything he once dreamed of.
Fame, wealth,
Respect. His name echoed across stadiums worldwide. Yet the man who helped him during his most fragile years was still struggling just to survive. And that truth hurt. Mr. Thompson didn't have millions, championships, or headlines. But he had something far more powerful: dignity. He had humility. He had a heart shaped by years of sacrifice, service, and silent strength. Early the next morning, before the world woke up, Michael picked up his phone and called his team. His voice was calm, but his words carried weight. "Find out everything about Mr. Thompson," he said. His life, his needs, his dreams. What they uncovered shattered him. Mr. Thompson lived alone in a small rented apartment. No savings. No financial safety net. No family support. His entire life had been spent helping others, and now, in his final years, he had nothing to lean on. Even more heartbreaking, he had refused help more than once. Not out of pride, but out of kindness. He didn't want to be a burden on anyone. In that moment, Michael felt something shift deep inside him. This wasn't about charity. This was about responsibility. This was about gratitude. Right then and there, Michael Jordan made a decision. A quiet, personal decision that would soon change a life forever. 1 week later, the school auditorium buzzed with anticipation. Students whispered excitedly. Teachers exchanged smiles, and staff shuffled in their seats, expecting the usual motivational speech from a legend. Michael Jordan had visited schools countless times before, inspiring young athletes to chase their dreams. But today, this was different. As Michael stepped onto the stage, a hush fell over the crowd. He scanned the room with his familiar, commanding presence and then looked to the side. He motioned toward the hallway door. "Mr. Thompson," he called gently. The elderly janitor slowly walked in, leaning on his cane for support. Confusion and nervousness danced across his face. The audience murmured. No one had expected this. Michael smiled warmly and raised the microphone. "This man helped shape my life," Michael began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "When I had nothing, he believed in me. When the world didn't notice, he never gave up on me. Today, it's my turn to honor him." A ripple of curiosity ran through the crowd as Michael continued. He revealed that he had paid off all of Mr. Thompson's debts, ensuring that financial worries would never touch him again. He had bought him a beautiful, fully furnished home near the school, a place where he could finally relax and enjoy his golden years. And to secure his future, Michael set up a lifetime pension, guaranteeing that he would never have to work again. But Michael wasn't finished. He announced a scholarship fund in Mr. Thompson's name, dedicated to helping hardworking students from struggling families, so that his legacy of kindness could continue for generations. The room fell silent. Then slowly, tears filled eyes. Applause erupted into a standing ovation. Mr. Thompson broke down, shaking as he whispered, "I never did these things for rewards. I just wanted to help kids believe in themselves." Michael hugged him tightly and said softly, "And that's why you deserve everything." In that moment, the audience realized this was more than generosity. It was a lesson in gratitude, humility, and true greatness. News of that unforgettable day spread like wildfire. Headlines, social media posts, and television segments celebrated Michael Jordan's generosity, but Michael didn't see it that way. To him, it wasn't charity. It wasn't about money, fame, or recognition. It was gratitude, pure and simple. In interviews later, he spoke with quiet conviction. Success means nothing if you forget the people who helped you when no one was watching. Those words resonated far beyond the sports world. Michael had achieved what millions could only dream of, yet he never forgot the silent heroes who shaped his journey. Mr. Thompson, the elderly janitor who had worked tirelessly for decades, finally had his life changed, not with accolades, but with respect, security, and dignity. He retired from his job, not as an overlooked employee, but as a man honored by the life he had quietly devoted to others. The students at the school, who witnessed the emotional moment firsthand, learned a lesson far more important than any motivational speech or sports tip. They saw that true greatness is not measured by fame or wealth, but by the impact you have on others, the lives you touch, the kindness you show, and the people you lift along the way. From that day on, whenever someone walked past a janitor, a teacher, or anyone quietly working behind the scenes, they remembered Mr. Thompson. They remembered the sacrifices often unseen, the hearts that give without expecting anything in return, and the quiet power of generosity. This story is a reminder. The world is full of unsung heroes. Sometimes, the most important people in our lives are not those in the spotlight. They're the ones holding a mop, opening a door, or offering a kind word while everyone else looks the other way. And thanks to Michael Jordan's gratitude, the world will never forget the man who never gave up and the lesson he quietly taught us all.